Hey, breaking now. Big news from the Bengals this morning. Middle linebacker Logan Wilson heading to the Dallas Cowboys. If you do remember, 2 weeks after requesting a trade ahead of the NFL trade deadline, which is today.
So joining us right now with more insight into the trade itself, our sports director, Joe D. Okay, so Joe, I know that Logan Wilson was with you guys on Bengals Now down at Newport on the Levee just 2 weeks ago. And then the next day, these rumors kind of started circulating about him possibly asking for a trade. Having said that, what was your then initial reaction to this news? Did it come as a surprise to you, considering that those rumors had already been swirling?
No, it wasn't a surprise. It kind of felt like the writing was on the wall that Logan's time in Cincinnati was up, and the Bengals were going to go forward with their two young linebackers they drafted this year in the draft. It's a bold decision by Zach Taylor to decide to bench Logan a few weeks ago and go with Barrett Carter at that position, because we see right now the Bengals have what is statistically the worst defense in the NFL and one of the worst in franchise history. And Logan Wilson on the field at this point would likely give the Bengals some stability and a better chance of winning football games. But they like Barrett Carter. They like Demetrius Knight. They decided to go young, and that's why Logan Wilson decided to make a trade request. And the Bengals granted that request today and sent him to Dallas for a 7th-round pick. So this will be looked back, guys, in a few years as a really bold move by Zach Taylor and his coaching staff to decide to go young this year. We'll see if it pays off in the very near future.
Well, it's not that the Cowboys are that great either, but, I mean, for Logan Wilson as an individual, is this a smart move for him?
I think it's a win-win for both sides, and what kind of still feels like a trade that isn't going to be seismic across the NFL. Look, the Bengals weren't going to play him. His play wasn't as good as it was in recent years. He was demoted to special teams play, and his special teams play was not great here in Cincinnati. And Dallas, you're right, Dallas isn't having the kind of season that looks like it's going very far either. But it gives him a chance to get on the field, and he wasn't going to have that here in Cincinnati. The Bengals made this decision, and they thought it's what's best for them and their future to try to give Barrett Carter a runway here, playing every week and become a leader on this team. I mean, listen, at the beginning of the year, if you would have asked anybody with the Bengals, they would have told you there's a reason Logan Wilson's the captain. They're relying on this guy not only for his play, but for his leadership, and that's how quickly things can change in the NFL. But if the Bengals were going to do this, if they were going to go young and they wanted to turn over some leadership qualities to these two linebackers, now they have that shot. And now Logan Wilson has a shot to play in Dallas, even if it's for a team that we saw Monday night doesn't look like it's probably going very far either.
And Joe, let me ask you this. Do you think that this latest trade with Logan Wilson, just pure conjecture here, but do you think that this is possibly indicative of a larger issue in the locker room right now, kind of this chasm between defense and offense and the problems that kind of seem to be circulating within the locker room?
It's such a great question, Jordan, and it's one I've been thinking about here for the last week, and especially after Sunday, as we start to, for the first time, hear some of the finger pointing publicly from guys like Chase Brown towards the defense, and how could they not at this point, the way the offense is played and the way the defense is played? It's hard to give you a blanket answer on that, Jordan, and say, yes, the locker room is toxic. The offense versus defense is a real thing. I can say in individual cases, we've seen it because it happened on Sunday with what Chase Brown said. And we saw it with the body language of Jamar Chase during his interview. He didn't say what Chase said, but Jamar is right up there on the line of walking that line of ready to say it, but he hasn't said it yet. So I can't give you a blanket statement and say, yes, the locker room is fractured, but there were cracks. And we've seen it. We've heard it. And Zach Taylor's aware of it. I asked him about it yesterday, and he said he met individually with Chase Brown about what he said about the defense on Sunday. There's a team meeting yesterday. Guys are being very quiet about what was said in that meeting. Zach Taylor was asked about it. He said basically the players got the idea pretty quick from him yesterday in that meeting, the point he wanted to make. So there are cracks. There are fractures. But to say completely that the locker room has divided itself, I can't make that statement because we just don't know what is said and what is happening every single day there.
Sure.
Hey, Joey D., what a time to be sports director, huh? Guess you're not for lack of work.
Yeah,
Man,
he never is.
What I'm telling you, this time we had the Bengals, and they're one of the more fascinating stories in the NFL
Yeah.
of what's happening between the offense and the defense and the Joe Flacco story. FC Cincinnati's right here on the cusp of doing something special, and the Bearcats are alive for a Big 12 championship. I'm telling you, it's a great time in Cincinnati, even though it's coming with some questions right now about the Bengals and this defense.
Joe Danneman waking up early for us on this Tuesday. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.